Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to today's workshop. My name is Arpit, and I will be conducting our workshop today. And I'm joined by my fellow psychologists, Anupama and Kushi Jain, who are the co hosts for this meeting. And I will let them introduce themselves and read out some ground rules for you that we are supposed to follow in order for a smooth conduction of this workshop. And then we will begin with the topic. So, over to you, Anupama and Kushi.
Thank you, Arpit. Hello, everyone. I am Anupama Vinod. I'll be co-hosting along with Kushi today. I am a trainee psychologist here at MindTribe. I have done my master's in clinical psychology. I believe in nurturing both the mind and body for our overall well-being. That's which is why I follow a holistic approach. So, once again, welcome to the workshop. I hope you all enjoy it. Over to you, Kushi.
Thank you, Anupama. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kushi, and I work as a counselor at MindTribe, and I'm your co-host for today. I'm really excited to support this workshop, and I really can't wait to explore all creativities and mental well-being with all of you. So before we begin, though, let's set some ground rules. Firstly, kindly keep your cameras and microphones off during the session to minimize any kind of distraction. Second, it's very important that we try to maintain some decorum and show respect to all participants throughout the workshop. So let's please try to remember that. If you like to share something or speak, please unmute only when requested, or you can always raise the hand option and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. As this workshop is copyrighted by MindTribe, we kindly ask you to not take any recordings or screenshots during the session. And lastly, please note that the session will be recorded, but only the presentation and audio will be captured. Chats and videos will remain private. Thank you for your cooperation. Let's get started and enjoy the workshop.
Thank you so much, Anupama and Kushi, for that great introduction and setting the tone for this workshop. Now, let's move on to the actual workshop and let's look at it from a closer perspective. So, today's topic is about cultivating creativity. And before we move into it, I'll just introduce myself. So, my name is Arpit, and I work as a psychologist at MindTribe. I hold a master's in clinical psychology from Christ University, Bangalore, with an added training in clinical hypnotherapy. My experience in this field of mental health includes working in rehabilitation centers, assisting psychiatrists and clinical psychologists with assessments, diagnosis, and observations. I try to bring different learnings into my practice, which range from clinical to early philosophies. I try a mix of early and modern knowledge, which provides a multi-directional acceleration towards the goal of being fully human or being capable in oneself. So this is pretty much about me. And what I'm hoping to achieve through this workshop is to reintroduce you to a seed of potential that's always been there with you, but forgotten for various reasons. We'll discuss those reasons as well. So this workshop is just an elaborate reminder of that seed of potential within you, and we will discover that now. So before so as a part of introducing you guys to the topic, I invite you to step into a deeper understanding of creativity today, not just as a skill, not just as a talent, and not even as an act, but creativity as your true nature. So creativity is not about art alone or music or invention. It is about life itself. The essence of being human is not rooted in consumption but in creation. So what we are doing here is we are understanding creativity through its polar opposite, which is called consumption. So we are understanding creativity in contrast to consumption. And so yeah, in this world, we are somehow being lulled into a world that encourages us to merely consume, just consume endlessly, mindlessly, and passively. The food we eat, the entertainment we binge, the endless scrolling through our screens. We are all constantly feeding our senses, filling our minds, but are we truly alive in those moments? One of the famous personalities once said that creativity is the greatest rebellion in existence, which is a very interesting thing to say. It was said because to create means to move against the whole collective tide of passive consumption. It means stepping into the unknown, into a state of being where you are a participant in existence and not merely a spectator of things and consuming things. So, when we are trapped in consumption, we become kind of stagnant. The mind grows dull, the spirit becomes restless. There is a reason for that. Because to consume endlessly is to deny the deeper purpose of being human. We are not here just to take in, we are here to express, to transform, to give birth to something new. Let's take an example like imagine a stream of water that stops flowing. It becomes stagnant, full, lifeless. But when water moves, when it flows, it purifies itself, it sustains life. So you can understand creativity as that flow which is within us. When we create, we are not just producing something external, we are transforming ourselves. We are channeling the infinite energy through the unique lens of our existence. And also, creativity is not limited to painting a picture or writing a song. It is just an attitude, a way of approaching life. Even in ancient tradition, creativity is seen as a divine force, a spark of the same energy that brought the universe into being. A lot of early texts have mentioned creation as the cosmic dance, and while others have mentioned it as the breath of the beloved. So every time you create, no matter how small or simple, you align yourself with this force. It is a collective and universal force that flows through us. But here's the paradox: creativity thrives on emptiness. And this is where our challenge lies. We are so full of distractions, full of noise, full of the things we have consumed. There is no space left for any creativity to arise. So, the importance of being empty in order to cultivate creativity is something that we will be looking in this workshop as well. So, this workshop is not just about exploring creativity as a concept or a skill, it's about rediscovering your nature. It's about breaking free from the inertia of consumption and try to be awake from within. And by the end of this session, I want you to feel not just inspired, but be transformed and ready to embrace life not as a consumer, but as a creator. And as we embark on this journey together, remember one thing: creativity is never about perfection, it is about playfulness, spontaneity, and courage. It is not something to achieve, but it is something to recall because it has always been with you. If we remember our childhood, we know how creative we were. Even if we do not have anything to play with, we can imagine scenarios in our head and just go on whole day with it. We can enjoy the simplest of the things because we are very closer to nature at that time. We are very close to existence at that time as children. So, keeping all that in mind, let's move on to the actual workshop. So, by the end of this workshop, you'll be able to understand how to integrate this lifestyle of creativity into our regular lives, and also to understand how therapy can support this journey and what are the common things that therapy and this creative lifestyle have in common. Now, before we move ahead, I want you guys to. I hope you had a good weekend. Even if it wasn't a good weekend, just I want you guys to put it in the chat box. You can use an emoji or you can use a color. And after mentioning the emoji or the color, you write your current mood that is associated with the color or the emoji. For example, like the example here is I'm feeling like a star because I'm excited to explore new ideas today. So star used as an emoji. So take 30 seconds, think about it, choose your color, or if you are on your phone, you can use emoji. If you are on your system, you can use color, you can use the name of the color and what are the feelings associated with it, especially for now, to describe your current mood. So we'll start off with that because we need some participation from you guys as well. Okay, Aditi says gray, feeling neutral. Yeah, this is one of the shades of gray that we use to describe our feelings. Amazing. Vishwakesh also mentions gray. Now Vishwakesh is feeling sky blue. Okay, feeling more excited by the time. Sony has mentioned yellow, feeling hopeful and positive. Yeah, it aligns with the sunrise, so of course that's great. Akshay Bhate is feeling blue, means I guess you're excited for it. Avasthi is feeling like happy. It's a wide smile, going with the flow, rejuvenated after a troublesome week. Oh, that's amazing. The rejuvenation has just started. It will go on for another 1 hour. Samla has mentioned white heart. Deepti is feeling positive. Saloni is saying she's feeling peaceful and relaxed. Crystal blood is giving a black heart. All right, that does it. Supriya mentions a green heart. Kashish says red, which is going to celebrate post Diwali. Oh, that's amazing. Abhishek is feeling blessed. He completed his work. Zainab is feeling hopeful, looking forward to this workshop. Crystal blood said black. You love darkness and you love thriving it, so it's black. Yeah, that's amazing. And today's workshop about creativity will talk about how creativity arises from darkness and the emptiness, so keep that with you. Ayush Tyagi has had rough weekends. It's so Ayushi Tyagi, sorry. It's okay. It's okay. We'll make this, try to make it better. Priyanka is going with my friends for a party tonight. Oh, amazing. Take some knowledge with you, which we shared here today. Kumar is feeling blue, feels like lost somewhere by the way the journey, but hopeful. That's amazing, Kumar. Sushmita Singh is feeling blue. I use this color to describe happiness, love, and excitement. That's amazing. Akid Sheikh is feeling bored. It's okay, Akid. I mean, feeling bored is the first step of being creative. You have to be bored till the point of exertion. That's how you get into it. So it's a good start. CG says job application is rejected again. Okay, CG, I mean, let's take some learnings from that and let's not repeat the mistakes happened in first one and the second one. Nisha says not too happy or sad. Okay, that's amazing. Being neutral again is a great motivator for being creative. So it is aligning with our topic today. Thank you. Right. Ritika says purple. I just feel lost, but expectation, hope is there. I just want to find happiness and peace. You will definitely, Ritika. Thank you for sharing. It's okay, Vishwakesh. Today we'll talk about that only. You don't have to look anywhere outside for being creative. It's already there. We'll just tell you how to uncover that. Fasna has raised their hand. Do you want to share something? Okay, if not, then fine. And thank you so much, guys, for sharing. It is a great start. It's good to know how you guys are feeling at what's going on. It doesn't feel like a one-sided meet here now. Thank you so much. Now let's move forward. So let me read out the objectives for you for this workshop. So today we'll explore the mental health benefits of creative hobbies, or just remember, whenever I say creative hobbies or artistic hobbies, I am talking about the general change in lifestyle that I'm talking about, which is opposed to consumption, which is more related to creativity. So hobbies doesn't necessarily mean that I'm talking about specific things where you are good at. So it is a general way of life. Second objective is to understand how creative activities can enhance personal well-being. And thirdly and lastly is to introduce the role of therapy in supporting creative expression and growth. So this is the agenda, is what it is gonna look like. So we'll start with the introduction, then we'll do some exploration on the topic. We'll talk about some barriers that present in our way to being creative, and we'll talk about how to overcome those barriers. We'll talk about creativity itself as a form of self therapy, and then we'll talk about the role of therapy in enhancing this as a lifestyle. Then we'll talk about actual cultivation of how we can inculcate these creative habits into our lives and make our life more creative as opposed to consumptive. And lastly, we'll share some resources for continued practice, which so you have a lot of things to take away from here. So let's begin. Okay. So creativity, when we talk about creativity, it is it is often misunderstood as a talent which is limited to artists or musicians, but in reality it is a skill, and even more importantly it is a mindset that every single one of us possesses. It is the ability to see things differently, imagine new possibilities, and bringing those ideas to life. I remember in childhood when my teachers used to say that everyone is born with a talent. I did not believe her, but as I have grown more into this adulthood, I know that we all basically are creative beings. Creation is our essence, and because of a lot of reasons, we have been just away from it. So I understand its importance now more than ever. Also, so in this workshop, we will explore how to integrate creativity into our everyday lives, and not as just a way to enhance your personal well-being, but also as a powerful tool for mental health. So, at its core, creativity is the ability to think beyond the present reality, to move from as it is to as it could be. It's about imagining new possibilities and then bringing them to life, whether that's through art or problem solving or even how you approach daily tasks, how you do the tiniest of things. Okay, Kashish asks, as it is, as it could be. So you want me to elaborate on that? Okay, so as it is to look at things as they really are. Okay, let's say you look at a blank canvas. So what is it right now? It is just a blank canvas, right? But if you shift your perspective from seeing a blank canvas, which is as it is, to seeing is as it could be, seeing it from the lens of an artist, what things can be used to decorate this piece of things. So just think of canvas and you can understand this example better. So like painting is how you decorate space. Also music is how you decorate time. So even time is like you just take a stopwatch for 5 minutes, it just keeps on going tick tock tick tock tick tock. So that is as it is, that is time as it is. Now if we look at it from another perspective, which is called as it could be, you can think of musicians and how they decorate time and how they make use of that time to create something that was born out of nothing. So as it is, it's like a perception shift from as it is to as it could be, where your creativity is involved. So Albert Einstein even described creativity as intelligence having fun, and he also said one of the things that he arrived at such a scientific conclusion, not just using his rational mind, but using his imaginative mind. So imaginative mind is where the ideas are created, and then rational mind is used as a tool to reach that point. So intelligence is something Albert Einstein used to create theories, but the actual creation of those was a part of creativity shown by Albert Einstein. So again, creativity isn't limited to art. It's in the way that we solve problems, build relationships, and approach challenges in life. Even talking is a highly creative act. Just think about uh, like what is comedy and what is humor. It is just talking, but we talk with lots of twists and turns and such unexpected elements that it becomes an art form in itself. So even talking can be so creative. Think about it, like how often do you use creativity without even realizing it? When you are with friends, or when you are in a engaged in a discussion where you use humor or things like that. Whether you are figuring out how to fix something at home, finding a new way to explain a concept, or brainstorming ideas at work, creativity is everywhere. So the question isn't if I am creative, but the question is how can I nurture and use my creativity more intentionally? So because we use it and we are sometimes aware of it, sometimes we're not. So being more mindful of our creative self, which is the root self. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So let's talk about a few things that, since this is a mental health workshop, so we'll talk about what is the commonality that creativity shares with mental health. So they both are a great tool for self-awareness. This is the first point. So engaging in creative activities often requires introspection, helping you better understand your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So it is great for the mental health thing. Secondly, it is a great tool for emotional expression. And all these pointers that are there, they are boosters for mental health, and they are aligned with creativity as well. Yeah, so we were talking about the second point, emotional expression. Sometimes words are not enough. Creativity provides a safe outlet to express feelings that may be hard to articulate verbally. So emotional expression is there. Then there are cognitive benefits. So activities like drawing or writing, they can stimulate brain activity, they can enhance memory, they can enhance your attention, they can enhance your problem solving skills. So there are a lot of mental benefits to that. Then the fourth one is problem solving skills. So creativity helps you approach challenges with a fresh perspective and innovative solution. So like we were talking about, as it is to as it could be. So problem solving skill is something that takes you from as it is to as it could be. Then second last point is sense of achievement, where you guys must have experienced it with anything, that after completing any project, be it creative or not, no matter how small, it boosts your self-esteem and create a sense of pride in you. So this is there. And lastly, it is a great tool for mindfulness and relaxation. So the process of creating, whether it's painting, knitting, or even cooking, it anchors you in the present moment, reducing stress and promoting relaxation. So these are the creativity's relation with mental health. Now we can move forward. Wait, the slide is not changed. Yeah. So let's briefly look at some of the creative things that are in the mainstream or that are usually known. So the first one and the most popular one is the visual arts. So it includes things such as drawing and painting, photography, crafting, anything that pleases your eyes. And so basically, I was talking about decorating space. So this is where we decorate the space, and what it does is that it lets you visually express your emotions and ideas. So we have known like a lot of painters, a lot of artists, they have shown what they are feeling through their artwork. There was this famous artist, I forgot his name, but he developed schizophrenia, where he was having hallucinations, and so he drew very regularly. So as his condition got worse and as his hallucinations got worse, it was showing in his art. I'm not sure if it was Van Gogh, because it was because the painting was of cats, and he described how cats were becoming very different by the time. So I'm not sure about the name. Thank you so much, guys, for just being interested in this. But yeah, I can't really recall the name. But this is a very important detail to remember. So it lets you express yourself visually. So let's say someone with schizophrenia, someone having hallucination, there is no way we can know what that is. We, as mental health professional, we try to understand what things are going on, what hallucinations are about, but they can only be described by the observer through words. However, they did not receive it through words. So this is something that gives a wholesome idea of what even the hallucinations can look like. So visual art is the first one. Then secondly, we come to performing arts. Now, performing art, it is mostly something that engages your body and mind both. So expression of body is also very important. So we are like creation is a very internal and intimate act. However, if we use the act of creativity with performing arts and things that engages our body, it also proves as a wholesome developmental thing where the body and mind are in equilibrium. That's why we include meditation and yoga both as a practice, meditation for the mind, yoga for the body. So performing arts is something that can provide you both. Then we come to writing. And when it comes to writing, the expression is usually of your thoughts, your thought process. So whether it be journaling, blogging, or storytelling, writing allows you to reflect and articulate your thoughts and understand yourself better. What is going on in your thought process? Are your thoughts running you, or are you running them? So it gets you a really comprehensive idea of that. So these are the first three creative endeavors. Then we move on to the next three. The next one is digital art. So this is a pretty new one because technology is not that old. So digital arts is something where you bring your creativity into the digital space. Again, it can be the expression of the mind, expression of the thought, or expression of any creative ability that you have, but we put that into digital arts. So this is that one. A lot of people are saying Louis Williams. So yeah, the cat artist. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. So he was the artist who created these designs. So yeah, let's move on to crafting and DIY. So these are the things that we remember, like in childhood, our dads used to work small things at home, and we used to assist them. So these are the things that you do it yourself, and when we try to create a space of our own and try to include things that resonate with us, and filling the space with something. So when we buy a space to live, it's empty, and we try to fill it up with things that we want. So that is also part of creativity. And lastly, and most importantly, is the underrated ones. So here we have everything that is included in creativity apart from these five things. So firstly, it involves problem solving in everyday life. So again, there are two ways of looking at a problem. You can look at as a problem, or you can look at it as an opportunity or as a challenge to be solved or to be dealt with. So it is just like a movie. We watch movies, we love thriller movies. One of the reasons is that the protagonist engages in a lot of problem solving throughout the movie, and we really like seeing how out of nowhere the problem arises and how the solution was reached. So it gives us a sense of satisfaction. So we can include that in real life as well, and looking at problems as challenges to be dealt with, and just feeling the sense of achievement you're going to have after you solve those challenges in a creative way. Then secondly, creation as an antidote to consumption. So this is what I was talking about in the first 10 minutes of our introduction. So it is best understood as an antidote to consumption. So all our five senses are engaged into material that are not needed. So creation is a antidote to that. So these were the creative activities that I could think of. Now let's talk about how can we integrate these things, integrate this lifestyle into our regular lives. So firstly, what we can do is, again, these are short practical tips that help you get there. More important is the mindset that we begin with. So these are again the tools that we can use to be closer to that mindset and the lifestyle that we're talking about. So the first tool is to establish a routine. So creativity, it thrives on consistency, and many people think that creativity is spontaneous, but the truth is that it grows with regular practice. So what you can do is, you can start small. You can dedicate 10-15 minutes a day to any creative activity, and we'll also talk about how to discover your creative activities in case you're wondering like what to start with. So just 10-15 minutes a day into one activity, and it could be anything. It could be journaling, doodling, or even brainstorming ideas. So like overthinking, but with a sense of purpose. So over time, these small minutes compound into big process, and it becomes a part of our muscle memory, and we don't have to put efforts into that. So just whenever we try to learn something new, let's say you're trying to learn any musical instrument. So even if you practice it 10 minutes a day, over time your muscles will learn how to command that instrument, and you will not have to think much about it, and that is such a motivating thing to have, and it just translates into progress. So small steps but consistent is the key. Just think of creativity like brushing your teeth. You do it every day because it's good for you, so treat creativity the same way. Then secondly is create your own space. So having a dedicated space for creative activities is a game changer. It doesn't need to be fancy. A small desk, a corner with good lighting, or even a designated notebook can be enough. So the thing is that that atmosphere has to be a reminder of your mindset of being creative. So just make it inspiring, add elements that make you feel good, like photos, or if you are a more of a reader, you can put on quotes, or you can put colorful supplies, or whatever resonates with you and whatever motivates you to get into it. For example, a writer might have a special chair by the window, or the painter might keep their brushes and other stuff in a sunny spot. So the physical space becomes a mental cue to create. So we have to reinforce that mental cue from time to time. Now, third point is to explore new activities. Now, it is very important to step outside our comfort zone. If you have always been interested in photography but never tried it, now is the time. You don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. We all have our phones, and this is something which is very handy to us. So we can start with even the tiniest of the things. Also, to explore new activities, you can attend workshops or classes to learn from others and try blending activities like combining music or journaling or sketching while listening to podcasts, or cross combining other creative acts, all the creative potential that you have. So these are the first three tools to get started with a creative lifestyle. The other two tools are, yes, set achievable goals and reflect and celebrate. Also, we don't have to be too much ambitious. Like I said, baby steps but consistent. So to set achievable goals, just break down big projects into manageable steps. For example, if you want to write a novel, start with a single page a day. So goals have to be realistic, and you set both long-term and short-term goals. Short-term goals keep you motivated, while long-term goals give you the direction. So they both are really important. For example, a short-term goal could be learning a new crafting technique, while a long-term goal could be completing a DIY project for your home. And last tool that is really important is reflect and celebrate. So again, as I said, emptiness, silence, and calmness are these are the prerequisites of being creative. So it's important to take time to look back on what you have created. Journaling about your creative journey, it can help you see how far you've come, so it gives you a roadmap of it. Then also celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Maybe you finished a drawing or you finally started that blog. So acknowledge those wins. The more you acknowledge that, the more your body and mind, they learn to embrace them. So we have to make it a habit. So these five are the things that we can use to integrate creativity into our daily lives. Now let's move ahead. Okay, so now again we have another activity time. So this activity is called word association with creativity. What I'll do is that I'll share a word related to creativity, and you have to type the first word that comes to your mind in the chat box. And again, no overthinking has to be done. And whatever comes to your mind first, just put it in the chat box. Okay, just give me 30 seconds, guys. I appreciate the effort, but you don't have to mention that now. I will write it in the chat box, and based on that, you have to write what comes to your mind. And I really appreciate you guys joining in from now. I'll just mention the word in the chat box, and then you can reply to it. Or I'll just say it. I'll just say it. Get yourself ready. Take 30 seconds. I'll repeat those words. Hello, guys. So the word is, I'll just say it, and you just keep your hands on the chat box and just uh, shoot the words that comes to your mind. So the first word is imagination. Lots of response coming in from color to creativity, writing, creativity, dream, creativity, brain, vision, creativity, camera, visualization, photography, doodling, dancing, horse, adventure, thought, blank, singer, draw, dancing, storytelling, flow, innovation, galaxy is amazing, intelligence. So, wow, I mean, I didn't know innovation has so many of the things to tell. Story, yeah, so it tells a lot about us, guys. So like you can see how our responses are different, and how the word innovation means different to all of us. Supriya says story, crystal blood, adventure sports, then aeroplane. Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's, even I sometimes wonder how is it possible to have a carrier flying around with so many people and we are not freaking out about it. So yeah, it's pretty imaginative of them. Let's do one more word, guys. Let's do it quickly. We don't have much time, so I'll just repeat it after a few seconds. All right, guys, our next word is music. Okay, so the responses coming in are pretty heavy. So sound, heal, tune, dance, soul, guitar, therapy, relaxation, rhythm, dance, singing, emotions, enjoyment, darshan, rhythm, band, fun, relaxation, sukoon, relaxation, love, peace, and love, imagination, dance, beautiful feeling, Arman Malik. Okay, nice. Emotions, not caring about voice and sing. Exactly, Kashish. That's very true. It reminds me of a story. Like there's a story where Tansen was Birbal's singer, and once not Birbal's, it was Akbar's singer, and once Akbar asked Tansen to uh, he asked him to introduce himself to his guru. So he wanted to meet Tansen's guru. He wanted to see where his all knowledge and talent are coming from. So they went to see his guru, and he was singing in a very trash voice. He was just singing. It was very bad, but the thing is that he was singing in a celebration. That was such a creative act for him. So that was also an eye breaker for Akbar, according to these stories. So yeah, Crystal Blood say universal language, nature, soothing. Exactly. So see how even music have has such a different connotations for all of us. However, it is just rhythms. It just our eardrums playing at very different frequencies. Sometimes repeating more, sometimes repeating less. But it affects us so much. So this is what I'm talking about. How a blank space or how from nothingness everything can be formed. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing it. You guys are really interactive, and I really appreciate that. Let's move ahead. We do not have much time. We'll speed up a little, just a little bit. So let's talk about a few barriers. Again, a practical thing to learn about, but I'll go over it quickly. So, okay. Yeah. So there are four barriers generally. The first barrier is perfectionism. So perfectionism, it is the inner critic that tells you if it's not perfect, then why bother? But perfectionism is a trap, let me tell you. It stops you from starting and prevents you from finishing. It is an all or none thinking which restricts you from doing things that you're capable of. So I would ask you guys to embrace imperfection and focus on the joy of creating rather than the end result. So progress, not perfection, is the goal here. For example, think of your favorite songs or paintings. Many of them are not technically perfect, but they are meaningful because they express something real. Even the greatest pieces of music, their rhythms have been just randomly played by one of their band members, and then they wondered about it, how great it was, and then they added more rhythms to it and made a whole song. It happened a lot with a lot of bands and artists. So perfectionism is something we can step aside when we are in that creative zone. It should be all the time. Yeah. And the second one is fear of judgment. So often we are afraid of what others will think. Will they criticize my work? Will they laugh at my efforts? But here's the truth: most judgments come from people projecting their own insecurities. So the last thing we can do is being fearful of the judgment of others, because it is coming from a place of vulnerability. So create for yourself first. Just remember that creativity is personal. It is your story, it is your vision, it is your voice, and that's valid. So the third one, yeah, third one is sorry. Third, sorry guys. Third one is the lack of time. So we all lead busy lives, but creativity doesn't require hours of dedication. So, like I said, just start small. 10 minutes a day can have a profound impact over time. Body keeps a note of everything, so consistency is a great thing. For example, if you are a parent, you can use those moments when the kids are napping. If you work full time, you find a quiet moment before bed to sketch, write, or brainstorm. So, time is something you have to manage by your own. Then we'll talk about a sense of overwhelmingness that we get when trying to being included in creative acts. So sometimes the problem is not lack of ideas but too many of them. This can feel paralyzing because you don't know where to start. So what I would suggest is to break it down into pieces, choose one idea and focus on small and actionable steps. Give yourself permission to revisit the other ideas later. Also, when you are feeling overwhelming, just listen to your instincts, just listen to what really you want to do. And silence is something where the your inner voice works. The only condition is that the silence is needed. So after that, things starts falling into place. So that's how you can deal with the feelings of overwhelmingness related to creativity. So these are the four things that four barriers and how to break away from those barriers. Okay, guys. So it's a very short ad break. You can guys go have a drink or just make yourself relax, do a little stretching. So yeah, we'll talk about a few of benefits of one-on-one counseling with MindTribe. So what is one-on-one counseling? So it is a personalized and confidential session between a client and a trained therapist. It helps you gain insight into your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. It addresses specific issues such as anxiety, stress, or interpersonal relationship issues. Then, lastly, it is a great tool for goal setting. Working towards personal and professional goals with the support of a counselor. So the guidance is better. There are a few counseling misconceptions that I would like to clear out. So people think that counseling is only for those who are sick or desperately need help. However, it is for anyone who wants to be their best version. So it can be used to better your interpersonal relationship, be more social, be more present, be more involved in everything, including your success and career advancement. So, and again, I talked about how creativity and therapy are very common, and we can use that. And why to choose MindTribe for counseling? So, we have a team of highly trained counselors. Our team consists of experienced and skilled therapists. Even the charges are affordable. They range from 500 to 5,000 depending on the seniority of the counselor. And also, the first session is free. After that, you'll be charged. And lastly, there are affordable packages. So once comfortable, you can invest in our budget-friendly counseling packages. Okay, so if you guys have any urgent questions related to therapy, you can ask it out in the chat box. Our co-host will be more than happy to get back to you, and we can begin with the presentation. Let's. Okay, so the next part is discovering your creative calling. So we talked about what tools to use in order to bridge the gap between your mind and the actual activity, which were discussed in the last slide. And now we'll talk about how we okay. So we'll talk about a few elements which will help you discover your creative calling. So these are very important points. So the first one is to follow your curiosity. Just like I mentioned about following your instinct, following your curiosity is a great thing. You should ask yourself what fascinates you, what would you love to try. These are the questions that you can compass with yourself in order to get a better understanding of what you would like to follow. For example, you have always been curious about ceramics but never touched clay. So why not take a beginner's workshop? So why not start there? So just put the first step into your instinct or curiosity. After you put the first step, other step they will be visible automatically. Second one is to embrace a beginner's mind. So being at something new can be daunting, but it's also very liberating. So when you embrace being a beginner, you are free to explore, experiment, and make mistakes without pressure. So again, it goes against perfectionism that we talked about in last slide. Third point is to find inspiration in the unexpected. So some of the best ideas come from blending unrelated fields. A scientist might find inspiration in poetry, or a musician in architecture. Uh, there is also this trend where when we talk about quantum physics, the more it is refining, the more we are expanding research into consciousness, because our observation are affecting the results of the study. So metaphysics and physics are actually coming together right now. So it's an amazing thing to be a part of. So the fourth point is to combine the unrelated. Hey, yeah, okay. To combine the unrelated, again, it resonates with the example that I just talked about. Fifth one is to listen to your childhood joy. So it is a really important thing. So just think back to what you loved as a child, what made you lose track of time. Those early passions often hold cues about your creative nature. So, did you like to build things, writing stories, singing? Just revisit your childhood in that sense and listen to the childhood joys and try to inculcate them if you are struggling with what to start as a creative endeavor. Then comes a micro creativity. So, creativity doesn't have to be grand, it's in the little things like doodling during a meeting, like in classes we used to draw small things on the back of notebooks. Even that was creative, decorating a cake or arranging flowers. So these small acts of creativity build momentum for large endeavors, and it helps us to inculcate that lifestyle. And lastly, seek out new experiences. So yeah, never keep yourself restricted to anything. Never say to yourself that I am not creative. We Most of us used to, we say that I'm not creative. We think that logic and creative, they go very differently. Some people are logical, some are creative. So just keep out of that belief system and seek out new experiences as they come to you. So let's move ahead. Okay, this is another interactive activity, guys. So we'll do it very quickly. So here you, like we talked about in last slide, listening to childhood joys. So I want you guys to just take a moment, close your eyes, take a few seconds to think about what are the things that you used to love, absolutely love, when you were children, and so what that thing was. Just mention that, and is it still in continuation? So how much of it are you following now, or are you not following at all? And just mentally do a time travel and introspect what your childhood joys were, and just mention it in the chat box, and we'll take a look at them and have a small interaction. Yeah, playing again. Yeah, this is the most important thing that we used to do as children. Even animals cannot resist. They are even more playful during childhood. Zanab says, used to doodle a lot, dance around the house, pretend I'm a Power Ranger. Yeah, I mean, we all have imagined ourselves as the fictional creators we used to see on TV. Let's not deny that it is with everybody. You're not alone. So yeah, collecting beautiful things, dancing and sports, traveling, journaling, left everything, crystal blood. Okay, so crystal blood, take this workshop as a reminder to start at least one of them and put your first step ahead in one of them. Sony says video games not continuing now. Sometimes maybe yeah you can use it recreationally. Aditi says toys that comes with Kinder Joy, and I still buy Kinder Joy, collect the toys. Yeah, that's amazing. It should not be restricted to children. I mean, why? Adult things are more childish today, so bring back the childhood joys. Samala says singing and playing. Sushmita says playing. Dwich Priya says teaching imaginary kids in my pouch, but not in continuous. Yeah, that is also part of a thinking which is which goes in a direction, a goal oriented thinking. So that's amazing. Going to the park, drawing and playing, watching magic shows. Ritika, that's amazing. Supriya says playing and singing. Gayatri says drawing imaginary character. Rubani says singing and dancing, not continuing now, says Nisha. CD says still draw and paint occasionally, but don't play piano anymore. Okay, you can start anywhere. You can just download an app on phone for piano, and as soon as you get better to it, just buy one. Crystal Blood won't start again. Triggers by PTSD. Okay, Crystal Blood, you can definitely try getting in touch with one of our counselors and come to therapy for that, and we can move ahead. Sony says reading Tinkle comics. I still read it now occasionally. Oh, that's amazing. Watching TV purely out of happiness without any kind of disturbing thoughts. Reading, playing. Yeah, mindful TV watching is something we have forgotten. Thank you so much, Avasti, for that. Anumita says I loved singing. Still do it just to enjoy it. Never learned professionally because perfectionism takes away the enjoyment. That is very true. Ayushi says singing, journaling, and as a teen discovered poetry and writing stories. All the best, Ayushi, for that. Saloni used to dance randomly, make crafts. Now only dance as if I'm in club. Yes, that's amazing. Primates are supposed to dance and sing. So that's what we're here for. Kumar says cricket, school, board decoration, music room. I'm a musician now. Sometime post on Insta as a singer, as a guitar player, but couldn't put my own song, stuck with office and personal relationship. Okay, I mean, I would suggest you to just whatever you are creating, put it out there. Even one of my friends is a music producer, and it helps him to just whatever he has, if he puts it out there, it creates more room for him to create even more. So I would suggest you that. Oh, all right. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for responding. We are running very short on time, so let's move ahead. And really, thank you so much for sharing all that. It means a lot, and it sets a great tone for our workshop. So next part is about the link between creativity and therapy. I will not take much time on this. So first is that creativity is a great way, I mean both creativity and therapy as a way of self-expression. Yeah. So self-expression is a non-verbal way of giving voice to our deepest emotions, and the connection to therapy is that self-expression. It is a critical part of healing, and creativity acts as an additional outlet path. So this is a commonality between creativity and therapy. Then they both help us in solving problems and being flexible. They both help us think unconventionally, shifting perspectives and creating novel solutions. Therapy helps us reframe negative thinking patterns, navigate challenges. Negative thinking patterns such as the things we used to say. I mean, I used to say to myself as a child that I'm not creative because I don't know, I just used to say it, and that was such a toxic thing to do. So those are the some negative thinking patterns that we try to change in therapy, navigate challenges and explore other solutions. Third is that they both are involved in mindfulness and focus. You guys must have heard about the state of flow where you are so involved in your work that the interest and the aptitude, they both are working so well with each other that you lose sense of space and time, and you can just sit for hours and hours and just create. It happens with people who create music or painting or anything like that. Even if you are working on a project, you will not know when the time has passed, especially when you are really engaged in it. And the connection to therapy is that it is a mindfulness is used as a tool to check up on undesired thoughts, emotions, and feelings. And lastly, but most importantly, it helps us access our subconscious or unconscious thoughts. So creativity acts as a mirror. It highlights parts that are not seen. Uh, so it happens with artists that once they start creating, once you create one piece, you think that's the end. But as soon as you are emptied out of that one thing, another thing starts coming. So it's like peeling layers of onion. So one layer you peel, you'll find another one, and the more you explore them, the more you explore your unconscious processes and all the things that have been automatic in you, that have been instilled since childhood. And the connection to therapy is that Also in therapy, we investigate unconscious through various techniques. Again, creativity is also a great technique for that. So, how therapy fuels creativity? How it is helpful to you in order to create a lifestyle that we are talking about, which is a creative lifestyle as opposed to consumption-oriented lifestyle. So, it helps you identify and overcome any creative blocks. So, creative blocks are things such as fear of failure, perfectionism, or self-doubt. These things act as a blockage. For example, a person who feels that they're not creative enough may be dealing with a deep rooted fear of judgment or failure, which can be worked through in therapy. So that's how it supports creativity. Secondly, it boosts confidence and self esteem. So, for creativity, these two things are really important to have a strong sense of self, sense of risk taking, sense of experimentation. These things all fuel creativity. And therapy encourages self compassion and helps you break free from negative self talk, making it easier to embrace new creative endeavors without the fear of being judged. Thirdly, it helps you explore new perspective and approaches. So exploration of new things is a very fundamental thing to creativity, and we have to step into the unknown. We have to sit with the silence, the darkness, the emptiness, and that's where the things will arise from. For example, therapists may guide clients to question fixed ideas and habitual thought patterns, helping them to open up more imaginative creative solution in their lives. So this is the last activity, and this might be one of the most interesting things. So here we are going to mention just for the audience and for myself, just we are going to share on the chat box the things that you have found really creative and out of the box, and something that made you feel very different from what you really do. We all have our preferences for these things, be it movies, TV shows, song, personalities, or books. So I want you guys to just take your time, think about it, and mention in your the chat box a couple of things, be it movie, shows, songs, personalities, or books that you have came across and you were bamboozled and you were like, I have to share this thing with people. So you can just share that so that we all have an idea of it, and uh, we can also be engaged in that. So I welcome you guys to write it in the chat box. Okay, Pramila says songs. Yes, definitely they are a kind of meditation with music. Akshay Bhatti says stand-up comedy shows, Persian movies. Yeah, stand-up comedy is again creative way of talking. Crystal Blood says Christite books. ZZZZ says Friends. Okay, that's an amazing show. Avasthi says Harry Potter. Artist Sanam Band and Darshan Rawal. Gayatri says books. Ashish Tyagi says Family Guy, Modern Family. Ayushi Tyagi, oh yeah, Family Guy is a great show. If you like that, you'll also like South Park. It is also something which combines social commentary and sarcasm into one frame. It's amazing. Anumita says Christopher Nolan. Yeah, definitely makes sense, 100%. Saloni says Hrithik Roshan, dance motivation. Definitely, just one of the childhood joys. It reminds me of Friend series, reels of dance, art pieces, motivates you to paint and create. Books, Sherlock Holmes. Oh yeah, that is amazing. Even though I haven't read it, but I've seen it. Body positivity related content. Yes, Aditi. Gayatri says I want to die, but I want to eat whatever that is. So yeah, sounds amazing though. Sounds really creative and out of the box. Saloni says great dishes motivates me to cook. Crystal Blood. Agatha Christ type. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Crystal. YouTube tutorials explaining the artist process. Nancy Drew says, oh yeah, who doesn't like the thrillers? Supriya says poetry, music, puzzles, comedy show. Kinetic Illusion Arts, India's Got. Oh yes, dude! I just watched it last night. I just died laughing. That's an amazing thing. Also, it just for your information, it there is this show called Kill Tony from where it is inspired. If you want to check that out, you can check that out. It's really amazing. Yeah, animated cartoon, spirituality, yeah, amazing. And artist Shreya Ghoshal, oh my god, again one of my childhood joys. Thank you so much for that again, and thank you so much all for sharing that. It really helps us, get into it, get into the atmosphere of it. Thank you so much for sharing. Now let's move ahead. So I'll share with you some resources for cultivating creativity in case you are struggling with it. Let's talk about some practicalities of it. So there are online learning platforms that you can use. They are Skillshare, Coursera, or different master classes that are available. There are a few courses that are here. Like I just uh, pointed them out. Creative Writing for All, a 10-day journaling challenge, Creativity, Innovation, and Change. It's on Coursera, and Cooking Techniques, it's on Masterclass. I mean, you guys know how easy it is to find courses online, so there's no point putting much of them here, but it is a great reminder to just go for it. Then there are books to inspire creativity. There's this Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, and The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Then again, you can use social media for that. You can join communities related to your talent and related to your skill, and meet up people and communities, and talk about your creative acts, and just be involved in the process of the whole thing. Kashish, previous this slide, Kashish. Yeah, so three books are there: Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, Steal Like an Artist, Austin Kleon, and War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Sure, I'll do that. I'll put their names. If I don't, just remind. वैसे तो I will remember. Don't worry. Let's move ahead. So this brings us to almost the end of our workshop today. So I hope you guys had a good understanding of what we discussed and how creativity is defined here, not just how it's defined in mainstream ways, but what the actual understanding of it is. And just as John Cleese wisely once said, that creativity is not a talent, it is a way of operating, it is a mindset, it is a habit, it is a way of engaging the world that can bring immense joy and meaning to our lives. Today, we explored deeply on how creativity can be integrated into our lives, how it supports mental health, and how therapy can help you overcome those barriers. And the journey doesn't end here, it begins here. So let creativity be your companion as you navigate life's ups and downs. And always remember to follow your instincts, feed your curiosity, and try to find creativity in smallest of the things. You make your whole day creative in that sense, and you will start to find pleasure in that, because it is such a great antidote to consumption. When we consume a lot of things, we watch reels or do anything like that, after consumption we feel very tired, which makes sense. But after creating something, you feel even more of a burst of energy, which inspire you to create more. So thank you so much all for joining. So this was the end of our workshop. Again, there are MindTribe's counseling offerings that we talked about in the ads. So yeah, this is the contact that you can reach out to MindTribe and book your sessions. And thank you so much all for joining. It was a great session, and I really appreciate that you guys were really interactive and very participative. And considering it was a workshop on creativity, you guys did keep up to that. And thank you so much all for joining. If you guys have any questions or any clarification, you can go ahead and ask them. So one of the participants asked if you told if a person saying that they are not creative enough have deep rooted fear of judgment, but what if they are telling as critical thinker, analytical person, doesn't it mean that they are self-aware? Yeah, that was just an example of it. That there can be hundreds of examples, and that was just an example. And again, I would like to say that none of us are non-creative. Creation is the essence of it. You look at children, you look at any life form that is just being born. All the animals, all the children, they love playing and they love creating new things out of nowhere. I have a cat at home, and I had it since it was a kitten, and it used to play so much even with the basic of things. And it happens with children as well. They love to be engaged